Okay, so on to problem 2. So here the main thing I'm looking for is that you know what a control flow graph looks like and can draw a rough one for this problem. So again, the very specifics of it aren't super important, just trying to look for the general understanding of what these look like. So we would start with main here, and then we'd have some of the code in our next block of this control flow graph. And so we'd want to look at main and see, well, what happens next? Like, what's guaranteed to happen after int main starts? And that would be int c equals 0. So that statement of code, and that happens one time. So that's really the only thing that happens is this first basic block, because then we're going to go to c is less than 10. And c is less than 10 is sort of always going to happen as part of this for loop. And then we're going to branch either to the end of the for loop or to the loopy part of the for loop. So I'm going to sort of go through what happens at the end of the for loop. If we exit out of this, we skip to the very end and we do return 0. So that would be the end of our function there, and the return 0 is the last block in this program. If we don't do that, then we have an if statement, which is if c mod 2 equals 0. And so that would be our next block here is that comparison. And then at that point, we're going to have two branches. There's a true and a false. We might want to label those in the graph. Likewise, we might want to label this, that this is the false edge, this is the true edge for our loop. And if we go to true, we do cout even /n. If we go to false, we do cout odd /n. So those are the two parts of that. And then the end of that, we would converge back together. These both go to the same node at the end, and that's going to be the update to C. So C++ always happens, and then we'd loop back up to C is less than 10. So that's how we would draw that control flow graph. Again, it's just main goes into the assignment. Because we don't repeat the assignment, that's the only thing that's going to go in that basic block. We check the condition. We go out of the loop if it's false. We go into the loop if it's true. We do the if statement, true or false there. We go to C++, and then we loop back up. The second question says, using the graph above that you drew, indicate which nodes predominate the last node in the graph, the one with return 0. So that would be, this is the one that we're looking for, the one with the star. And we're looking to see which ones predominate, meaning which ones have to happen before that. So obviously we've definitely done C is less than 10 if we got to that point. We've also done the initialization, and we've done the start of main, though that one's kind of special, so we don't necessarily need to label that. It's not guaranteed that we did any of this true false stuff here, despite the fact that we could analyze this and know that C is definitely going to be less than 0 at some point, and so some of this is going to have to happen. We don't necessarily want to use that as part of our analysis here. It does not predominate the block. So predomination really just means we only have a single edge that takes us through here. This block is guaranteed to happen, no matter what's going on in the system. So that's it for problem number 2.